If math has become the subject everyone dreads in your house, I want you to take a deep breath because your child most likely is not bad at math. They may be feeling overwhelmed, they may have a missing skill, they may have even been pushed too fast or too hard. They may be trying to memorize something that they do not actually understand yet. But that does not mean that they cannot learn math. A lot of kids do not hate math, they just hate feeling confused. And when math turns into tears, power struggles, frustration, or your child saying, I'm just bad at this is usually not a character problem, it's not laziness, and it's not proof that your homeschool is not working. It's information. Those tears are telling us something. They're telling us that the lesson may be too long, the skill may be too advanced, the foundation might not be strong enough yet, or your child may need to see the math in a different way. So today, I want to talk about how to teach math at home without making it the most stressful part of your homeschool day. And I want to give you some practical ways to make math feel calmer, clearer, and more doable. The first thing I want every homeschool parent to know is that math does not need to take 2 hours. I know this sounds simple, but many parents feel guilty if math does not take a long time. They think if we only spent 20 minutes on math, did we really do enough? But the goal is not how long can we sit at the table for a certain amount of minutes. The goal is understanding. So a focused 20 to 30-minute math lesson can be more effective than a long lesson filled with frustrations, tears, and arguing. Especially for younger kids, shorter lessons often work better. Their attention is better when the lessons are short. Their patience is better. Your patience is better, and the lesson can stay focused on one clear goal. Sometimes we accidentally make math harder because we stretch it too long. A child starts strong, but then the lesson keeps going and they get tired. They make more mistakes, then we think they do not understand it, but really they're just done. So instead of asking, how long did we do math? Ask, did my child understand the skill we're working on today? That's a much better question. A simple math routine might look like this: 5 minutes of review, 10 minutes of teaching a new idea, 10 minutes of guided practice, and then 5 minutes of your child explaining what they learned. This is enough for most kids. And if your child is struggling, shorter and more consistency is usually better than longer and more emotional lessons. Math does not need to take 2 hours. The next thing I want to talk about is hands-on learning. Before your child writes the math, let them build the math. This matters so much. A lot of kids need to see the math before they understand the symbols and what's taking place. When we need to jump straight to a worksheet, some kids are already lost. They are looking at numbers and signs and boxes, but they do not actually understand what the numbers mean yet. So if your child is struggling, do not automatically think we need more worksheets. Think, how can I make this more visible? If you're teaching addition, use counters, blocks, cereal, beads, coins, or any small toy. If you are teaching subtraction, physically take things away. If you're teaching multiplication, build equal groups. If you're teaching division, share items into groups. If you are teaching place value, use base 10 blocks or draw tens and ones. If you're teaching fractions, fold paper, cut food, draw circles, use measuring cups, or talk about pieces of a whole. I like to use the examples pizza and cake cut into slices. The point is to make math something your child can see and touch. For example, if your child sees 8 plus 5 on paper and freezes, give them 8 counters and 5 counters. Now they can physically combine them. They can see what's happening. Then you can say, this is what 8 plus 5 means. We're putting 2 groups together. That is different from just saying 8 plus 5. Come on, you know this. We want to lower the pressure and increase the understanding. Worksheets are not bad. Worksheets have a place, but worksheets are practice. They're not always foundation. The foundation is understanding. Build it first, talk through it, and then write it down. Worksheets are there for practice, and they're important for repeating that practice so that your child can then remember and move on to the next skill. Now let's talk about gaps. If your child is crying during math, there's usually a reason. And one of the most common reasons is a missing skill. Math builds on itself. If place value is shaky, regrouping will feel confusing. If addition facts are shaky, multiplication may feel harder. If multiplication is shaky, fractions may feel overwhelming. If reading is hard, word problems may feel impossible, even when the child understands the math. So when a child struggles, we need to stop and ask what skill is actually causing the problem. Sometimes the lesson in front of you is not the real issue. The real issue may be a skill from months ago or even years ago that's missing. This is why mastery matters so much. And with our curriculum at Homeschool Safari, our focus is on mastery. You cannot keep building if the foundation is cracked. And I want to say it clearly, going back is not a failure. Reviewing an earlier skill is not falling behind. Sometimes going back is exactly what helps a child finally move forward. If your child is struggling with subtraction or regrouping, go back to place value. If your child is struggling with multiplication, go back to skip counting and equal groups. If your child is struggling with fractions, go back to parts of a whole. If your child is struggling with word problems, go back to identifying what the word problem is asking. Catching up does not always mean moving faster. Sometimes catching up means slowing down, filling in the gaps, and building confidence. Another thing that causes a lot of math stress is speed. Some kids freeze when they feel timed. Some kids know how to solve a problem, but the second they feel rushed, they panic. And then they may think that they don't know it. But speed is not the same thing as understanding. Yes, math facts matter, fluency matters. Yes, we want kids to become more efficient over time, but pressure does not usually create confidence. Small wins creates confidence. Practice creates fluency. Repetition creates comfort. But shame and panic do not help a child love math. So instead of saying, hurry up, try saying, talk me through what you're thinking about. Instead of saying, you should know this by now, try saying, let's find the part that's tricky. Instead of saying, why do you keep getting this wrong? Try saying, what strategy could we use? Those little shifts matter. Because math is not about numbers, it is also about mindset. A child who believes I can figure this out is going to get farther than a child who believes I'm just bad at math. We want to help kids build the belief that math is something they can understand, not something they have to fear. So what do you do in the actual moment? Your child is crying, you're frustrated, the worksheet is sitting there, and everyone is tense. First, pause. Do not keep pushing through a full lesson when your child is already emotionally shut down. That usually does not lead to learning. Take a short break, get water, move around, step away for a few minutes, and then come back and make the task smaller. Instead of doing the whole page, do 3 problems. Instead of doing it on paper, build it with counters. Instead of asking them to solve it silently, let them talk about it. Instead of focusing on the answer, focus on the strategy. You can say, we're not going to do the whole page right now. You are just going to understand this one problem. And it takes the pressure away. And once the pressure comes down, the brain can actually learn again. Sometimes the best math lesson is not finishing the page. Sometimes the best math lesson is helping your child realize I can calm down, try again, and understand this. That is powerful. At Homeschool Safari, this is one of the reasons we believe in support, structure, and shorter focused learning. We know that parents are trying so hard, but you do not have to teach every single math lesson alone. Homeschool Safari gives live lessons, curriculum support, and a structure that helps kids keep moving without making parents feel like they have to figure everything out from scratch. Our goal is not to overwhelm kids with long lessons. Our goal is to help them build understanding, confidence, and steady progress. For many kids, a focused 25-minute lesson with a teacher, followed by a simple practice at home, is much more effective than a long, stressful math block. And for parents, that support can change the whole rhythm of the day, because sometimes the issue is not that your homeschool is failing. Sometimes you just need help with one hard subject, and that's okay. So if math has become one of the hardest parts of your homeschool day, start here. Keep it short, make it hands-on, look for the missing skill, and do not confuse speed with understanding. Remember that tiers are information, they're not the final story. Your child can grow in math, your child can build confidence, and you do not have to do it alone. If you are looking for support with math, ELA, live classes, curriculum, clubs, and homeschool structure, Homeschool Safari was created for families just like yours.